They say the devil doesn't always come with horns and fire. Sometimes he comes disguised as beauty. In a lonely town in Texas, they whisper of a woman dressed in white with long hair so radiant it could lure any man closer. But if you see her face, it's already too late. My mom used to tell me stories from her childhood, and most were harmless old tales. Strange lights in the fields, shadows in abandoned barns, that sort of thing. But there's one story she told me that still makes my skin crawl. It happened decades ago in a small town in Texas. Back then, the community was close-knit. People worked hard all week, and on weekends they came together for dances and gatherings. This wasn't just entertainment, it was tradition. One summer night, there was a party that stretched long into the hours past midnight. Music filled the dusty air, laughter spilled from the old hall, and bottles passed from hand to hand. Among the crowd was a man known for his drinking. He wasn't a bad person, but he often overdid it, and that night, he did just that, stumbling, slurring, and laughing louder than everyone else. When the music died down and people began to leave, the man was still too drunk to think straight. His friends told him to rest in the hall until morning, but stubbornly, he waved them off. His house wasn't too far, or so he thought. All he had to do was walk down the dirt road that cut through the fields. It was well past 1 a.m. when he finally set off. The road was silent, swallowed in darkness. No houses nearby, no lanterns. Just the sound of his own boots, dragging through gravel and dirt. The night was heavy, and the stillness made the smallest sound echo in his ears. His breath, the crunch of rocks, the occasional chirp of a cricket. But then, something broke the silence. He heard movement, faint rustling, like fabric brushing against branches. He stopped, squinting into the dark. That's when he saw her, just off the road. Near the bushes stood a woman. She was strikingly beautiful, with long flowing hair that shimmered in the pale moonlight. She wore a white dress that clung to her figure, glowing faintly against the backdrop of shadows. The drunk man blinked, rubbing his eyes. At first, he thought he was imagining it. A woman out here alone in the middle of nowhere, at this hour. But the more he looked, the more real she became. "Hey, hey there," he called out, his voice unsteady. The woman didn't answer. She turned slightly, her hair swaying as if a soft breeze touched it. Then, silently, she began to walk away. Something about her presence was magnetic. Despite the alcohol clouding his mind, the man felt drawn to her. He stumbled forward, determined to catch up.
"Wait! I just want to talk!"
he shouted. But she kept walking, calm, graceful, almost gliding. The harder he tried to keep pace, the further she seemed, just out of reach. Finally, she stopped. The man grinned, out of breath, but pleased that she'd noticed him. But the moment she turned her head, everything inside him froze. Her face wasn't human. Where her delicate features should have been was the long, grotesque muzzle of a horse. Its nostrils flared with every breath, its lips curled back, revealing jagged teeth. Worst of all were the eyes, burning red, glowing in the dark like coals pulled fresh from a fire. The man's body went numb. His drunkenness vanished in an instant, replaced with raw, primal terror. He tried to run, but his legs were weak and unsteady. Every step forward turned into a stumble. Every attempt to escape ended with him crashing into the dirt. The horse-faced woman tilted her head, watching him with those unholy eyes. And then she let out a sound. Not a neigh, not a scream, but something in between. A bone-shaking, guttural cry that echoed through the fields. He screamed for help, his voice cracking, echoing into the emptiness. But there was no one to hear him. The town was too far away, and everyone else was still at the dance. The road was silent, the fields endless, and he was trapped in the company of something that should not exist. For what felt like hours, he crawled, scrambled, and fought to get away. But she followed, always just a few steps behind. When he fell, he felt her presence looming closer. When he got up, she'd stop, watching, waiting. It was like a game to her. Finally, as dawn's first light began to creep over the horizon, the woman disappeared. Just gone, no sound, no trace, as if she'd never been there at all. The man was eventually found collapsed on the road, shaking uncontrollably. His clothes were torn, his face pale, and his eyes wide with madness. When they helped him up, he told everyone what he had seen, swearing it was real. For days after, he refused to leave his bed. He grew sickly, feverish, as though the encounter had drained the very life from him. But one thing was certain: he never touched alcohol again. Years later, my grandfather had his own encounter. He wasn't a drinker, and he wasn't the type to imagine things. One evening, he walked by a spring near the edge of town, a place where the water was clear and cool, surrounded by trees. As he approached, he noticed a woman bathing in the spring. Her back was to him, her hair long and glistening as it cascaded down her shoulders. Her figure was graceful, her skin pale under the fading light. My grandfather froze. Something about her was mesmerizing, but unlike the drunk man, he wasn't foolish enough to rush toward her. Still, curiosity got the better of him. He took a cautious step closer. That's when she turned. Her wet hair parted, and she revealed her face. It was the same face described years earlier, a horse's face, hideous and grotesque, with those burning red eyes staring directly into his soul. My grandfather didn't scream. He didn't run. He simply dropped to his knees, clutching the cross that hung around his neck, praying out loud until the vision faded. When he looked again, she was gone. The spring was silent, the water calm, but the memory, it never left him. To this day, locals whisper about her, the woman in white with the horse's face. Some say she's a cursed spirit, forever wandering, luring men to their doom. Others believe she's something older, a demon cloaked in beauty to trick the weak-willed. But one thing is certain. If you're walking alone on a dark Texas road and you see a woman in white with long hair, don't follow her. Don't speak to her. Don't even look too long. Because if she turns to face you, you'll understand why so many men never walk the same road again.